Let's talk Tanya for the 26th of Elul of a leap year. In yesterday's Tanya, we cited the teaching of the Arizal, that the Arizal said that even Moshe Rabbeinu, who obviously his grasp of godliness and of God was incredible. After all, he was the greatest prophet that ever lived, but it was also limited. That Moshe Rabbeinu, he was not able to arrive at or grasp anything which is higher than the world of Atzilus. And in fact, even in the world of Atzilus, the higher levels of the world of Atzilus, such as Chachma, also remained inaccessible to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he only was able to grasp in the lower levels of Atzilus, known as Nehim, the four lowest attributes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchus. And the question that we asked was, but one second, the Arizal himself, he expounds upon and he discusses levels of godliness which are well above and beyond the world of Atzilus. But the Arizal tells us that even was removed and from Moshe Rabbeinu. And Moshe Rabbeinu was limited to a certain place, and his ceiling was within the world of Atzilus. So how is it that the Kabbalistic masters, whether it was the Arizal or Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, were able to teach us about levels which are much higher than that? And the key to the answer to this question, Alter Rebbe explains, is here we are talking about Moshe Rabbeinu's nevuah, his prophecy, the limits of his prophecy. So to understand this, we need to discuss a little the concept of prophecy. What is prophecy all about? Prophecy is the idea of seeing God. We have the pasuk Vayera Elav Hashem. God revealed Himself. That's talking about Avram Avinu. Whereas another prophet, Yeshaya, says Va'eres Hashem. I actually saw God. Now this raises the obvious question: what does it mean to see God? God isn't seeable. God isn't a physical form, a three-dimensional form that's possible to see. The reason why we can't see God is not because He's concealed, because there's a curtain that's covering Him, but because our eyes can only perceive three-dimensional physical objects, and God isn't a three-dimensional physical object. So what does it mean to be able to see God? So when we're talking about seeing God, we have to realize we're talking about something a little more conceptual. Seeing versus understanding. What is the difference between seeing and understanding? When I see something, that means that that thing which I am seeing is being exposed, is being revealed to me. As opposed to when I understand something, I am using my power of deduction, my power of analysis, and I slowly but surely, I arrive and I'm able to achieve a certain understanding. But it's not that the thing is revealed to me. The thing is actually hidden, because if it was revealed to me, I wouldn't have to understand it. Understand it means I can't see it, but I'm arriving at it with my own power of intellect. So when we're talking about prophecy, what we mean is that there were certain levels of godliness that were revealed, not to the physical eyes of the prophets, but that were made accessible to the prophets, not that they arrived at it through their understanding, but these were actually revealed to the prophet, and that is the definition of what prophecy is all about. Now, there is an inherent limitation when we're talking about revelation. We're talking about seeing something, because when we see something, we never see the internal dimension or element of that thing we're seeing. We only see the external dimension. We see the external dimension, and then we use our minds to understand the deeper dimensions thereof. For example, so let's say you're walking in the street and you see two people walking towards each other, and as they see each other, they smile at each other, they greet each other with a handshake and a warm hug. So what did you see? You saw the smile, you saw the handshake, you saw the hug. But what underlies that? What is behind that? Behind that are the feelings that these two people have for each other, but that you can't see. But when we see the hug, we see the handshake, we see the smile, then we understand. We can logically arrive at the idea that these people must have feelings for each other. But there's what we see, and then there is what we understand. And again, we see always the external element, and we understand then that which is behind it, although the understanding is never as real and as clear and as perfect as that which we can see. And this is why we say, Chacham adif min navi. There's a Talmudic adage that says that a wise person is greater than a prophet. In which way is a wise person greater than a prophet? And the way the Alter Rebbe explains it over here in our Tanya today is that a prophet can see, but that seeing, as we mentioned, seeing is always limited. As opposed to the wise person, when a person uses their seichel, a person uses their intellect, you can actually understand things beyond that which you can see. So Moshe Rabbeinu, he was the greatest prophet. He was able to see the highest of what anyone was ever able to see, but because it is seeing, it is limited. He was only able to see the lower levels of the world of Atzilus. On the other hand, the Kabbalists, and by the way, Moshe Rabbeinu also, when they used their understanding and their comprehension, they were able to arrive at levels which are much higher than that which Moshe Rabbeinu was able to see, because once again, I can understand beyond that which I can see. Tomorrow we will take this insight and we will apply this to our understanding of Torah.